Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975, welcome back to another You Hum It and I'll Play It. Now, this video's request comes from Steve Benway. Pretty sure you know who Steve Benway is, but he is in my channel list and I will put a link in the doohickey down below to his channel. He's a retro gaming collector and he's just one of those great people in the community that is just appreciative and supportive of it, you know. And I really like people like that, you know, because he's got a larger channel, but he's never sort of forgotten the importance of interaction and helping other people and shouting out other people. And he does a shout out once a week in his Friday Talkie video. And that's brilliant. I mean, he shouted me out about a year ago. And it's funny because I still remember it. We do these things for ourselves. I know we do that. And I'm no different from anyone else. But I'd be lying if I said when, you know, someone that you admire, and I watched his videos before I even had a YouTube channel, you know, but someone you admire, you know, when you get recognised by your peers, it's always a nice thing. It's always a nice thing. And he shouted me out, and it's funny because I remember Crow from the Retro Roadshow sent me a message saying, dude, Steve shouted you out. Because the reason it was funny was I finished work, I was sleeping in bed, and I remember picking up, because I don't have it anymore, give up your mobile phones, people, it's liberating. I remember having an Android phone at the time, and obviously every time someone subscribed to me, you get a message through, you know, through Gmail, and it would always pop up on the phone for some reason. I do remember just kind of lying there and waking up and just looking at my phone and just going, holy cow, look how many people subbed me. And yeah, he shouted me out and said some genuinely very nice things about me, and I got like 100 subs overnight. And you know, while I don't do this for subs, you do this for an audience, so it is very nice that he helped me get my foot in the door. And he's done that for a lot of people, and I pretty much, every time he shouts someone out, because he has a similar taste to mine, I will always go and check out the person he shouts out. So I like that about him, you know, he's very much involved in the community. Now, he does gameplay videos, and they're brilliant. They're amongst my favourite gameplay videos out there. In fact, he inspired me to do gameplay videos. He's got two phrases, you know, that pretty much are just hands down always associated with retro gaming. The first one is this.
It's not a walkthrough, playthrough, review, anything like that. It's just me playing the game badly so you can see what it looks like.
And this is my favourite.
Hello, it's the Friday Talkie.
And that's another great thing I like about the Friday Talkie, where he sits there and he discusses things, sometimes serious, sometimes not so serious. You know, this is where he does his shout-outs, as I mentioned. But this is his part where, you know, whatever's on his mind, he discusses it. But this is the interaction level I'm talking about. Where he, you know, he does a video response in his Friday Talkie. You know, he will discuss topics other people have brought up. And I absolutely love the Friday Talkie. Like many of you, it's probably, you know, my favourite thing on his channel. So I have to say I'm chuffed to bits that he wanted to be involved. Also, I have to say he created this guy.
Hello, I'm Isambard Montague III.
Ah, I love this guy because he's everything that's bad about the Tories. Anyway, the game he wants me to play is this.
Dad, do you know the piano's on my foot? You hum it, son, and I'll play it. Sorry, I just couldn't resist that. I'm old. I'm Steve Benway, and you're watching Longboys Post 1975. And I am going to ask Dave to play this. Maximum Carnage. Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage. Something like that. No, it doesn't say Spider-Man and Venom. It says Marvel Comics, Spider-Man, Venom, Maximum Carnage. Being really precise there. By Acclaim on the Sega Mega Drive. Now, I've been a Spider-Man fan since very early 1970s when I saw the rather cheesy cartoons with that rather cheesy music that you will probably remember. And they were very simplistic, but I thought, how cool. And when I was a bit older, I started buying the comics. The UK comics, they were kind of not as good as the stuff that was out in America. They were black and white, and but anyway, I moved on. By the 90s, I was buying the American comics that were being imported, and I have got up in the loft the full Maximum Carnage crossover series. It crossed over all the Spider-Man titles that were in the shops at that time. I think it was about 4 different titles anyway. I can't remember exactly how many issues there are in the series, but I've got them all, and that took a bit of doing because some of them were kind of hard to get hold of. And anyway, I absolutely loved it. I thought Carnage, I mean, Venom is crazy, but he's a bad guy, but his intentions are good. But Carnage is just insane, utterly mental, and it made a brilliant series. Just Carnage, you know, him and a bunch of bad guys romping around, killing innocent civilians willy-nilly all over the place. Just kill. It was a kill spree. And I mean, as a comic storyline, it was massively over the top, really crazy, and something I hadn't seen before in a comic series. And I loved it, I really did. So when I saw this, I had to get it. It's kind of cool in that it comes on a red cartridge instead of the usual black one. What does it say on there? Acclaim is a division... what? Acclaim is a division of Acclaim Entertainment. It just looked like it said Acclaim is a division of Acclaim, and I was thinking, that's silly. Yeah. I'm still actually unsure what I think about the game, which is why I would like to see Dave's opinion on this, see his take, because I think it was quite late in the Mega Drive's life. To me it looks quite good, but I'm unsure. I've played quite a few Spider-Man games in my time, and I think my favourite is probably still the one on the Atari 2600. But there you go. That's my request. Maximum Carnage on the Mega Drive. I've owned it. You play it.
That's a really good choice. That's a very interesting choice, because I absolutely love Spider-Man. I mean, I love Spider-Man. I actually have the first appearance of Carnage. I actually have the first appearance of Venom. I will link a very old video of mine down below, but I have the entire run of Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, and Amazing Spider-Man, I should say. And I'm actually genuinely very proud of that. You know, I managed to collect it back in the day when it didn't, well, it still cost a bit then, but it's worth quite a lot bit more now. But that's not what I do. I love Tom McFarlane. To me, he forever changed the landscape of Spider-Man. So yeah, such is my love for Spider-Man, I'm actually wearing an Incredible Hulk t-shirt to avoid the cliche of wearing my Spider-Man t-shirt. And so much love I have for Spider-Man that I am actually boycotting it, and have boycotted it since the end of Civil War, when they revealed Spider-Man, and then to get around this mistake they had Spider-Man do a deal with Mephisto, in which case him and Mary Jane never met. And you can call me, you know, a fanboy, but I really like Mary Jane. One of the few relationships that didn't detract from the character, you know. So until Marvel fixed that, I'm never going to read Amazing Spider-Man again. That's how much I love Spider-Man. Now, having said that, I've never actually played Maximum Carnage. Probably though, because in my defense, it was quite late in the life cycle of the Mega Drive. I think it's quite a rare game now, isn't it? I mean, I've seen just carts of it go on eBay, or Genesis versions anyway, just carts going for crazy money. Anyway, let's get into that bad boy. Okay, so this is Maximum Carnage on the Mega Drive, 1994 by LJN. As Steve mentioned, it's quite late in the sort of lifestyle? The life cycle of the Mega lifestyle. Yeah, you know, those Mega Drives and their crazy alternative ways of living. Anyway, right, let's get into this. Nice. I can't remember if that's actually lifted from the actual comics, but it does look very nice. Well, I mean, I'm a comic book whore, so I love stuff like this. In your dreams, sicko. Right, so let's jump. So presumably that meant... Nice. Oh, even better. I do like the fact that it's got massive sprites. Pock. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's even cooler. Sorry, Steve and Billy. Sweet. Pock. Oh yeah, I do like the fact it's got this sort of 60s Batman stuff going on. Please give me a thwack. I do like the fact as well that your Spider-Man, because after McFarlane, obviously people had to draw Spider-Man differently. He basically revolutionised the way that Spider-Man was drawn. So I do like the fact that this is kind of like, you know, the more so, I guess I would say, spindly Spider-Man. Nice. Right, so I've got... Yeah, it's got that kind of golden axe sort of dash going on, which is cool. Right, health. Got health. Right. Do I have some sort... Oh, look at that. That's what I meant about the sort of the more spindly Spider-Man thing. You know, like with flying kicks like that and overly expressed sort of, you know, forced joints. That really got away from me then, that descriptive term. You know what I mean. Anyone who knows, you know, how Spider-Man looked before McFarlane and after knows. Can I pick you up? Yeah. Nice. I do like this as well. It would have been nice to be able to go further up, but... Sweet. Obviously, I'm assuming it's 2-player, and the other person would be Venom. Is there any way to recharge my health? You know, like, can I pick up food and stuff? Nice, tight controls. I do really, really like them. The only thing I would say, you know, initially I'm not too big on, is you don't see enough of the screen at once, if that makes sense. I would have preferred a more sort of scaled back sort of Streets of Rage or bare knuckle approach, in the sense that, you know, you see more of it. It's a bit too sort of chunky. Right, I've got to go back the other way. How do I... Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, because it's so big, you know, and up front, or close I should say, it's difficult to avoid. Sort of maneuverability is gone. That is nice. Does it serve any sort of... Oh, there we go. Ah! He gave me his heart. He should have bought me dinner first. Right, boss? Come on. Am I missing a trick here? Oh. Oh, I've got like a... Does that take my health? I don't know. See? That was kind of cool. Throwing newspapers at people is not the, I don't know, the weapon of choice I would think about putting into a side-scroller. It is, yeah, how should I put this? I know it's this sort of game, but it does feel quite repetitive quite quickly, which, as I said, you know, I know it's a side-scroller, but more so than others, I feel. Oh, look at that, proper fisticuffs, double slappage. Come and have a go, you think you're hard enough. Right, where do I go, where do I go? Ah, that's got to be a boss. Look at them. Oh, I do like the fact that they look up. Sweet. There is something very sort of Comic Zone about this, which I guess is a reflection on the fact that Comic Zone is probably based on this and not the other way around. Anyway. Sweet. Wow, they can probably take a pummeling, can't they? Sweet. That flying kick, that one, that's proper classic Mark Bagley right there. Who was technically the artist who created Carnage, I would say. Obviously, when I say created, he created the image, you know, of how he looked. Probably didn't, you know, actually create the character. You know what I mean. Look at that. Wow. These are some hard-ass birds, mind. So I just found that really funny. I laid it on that, you know, thick, and then one little kick in her lycra pants fucking dropped me. Sweet. Fighting accuracy. Fighting accuracy, I like that. Presumably that means how many times I punch someone in the face. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits there. That's a very, very interesting game to play. It is a very, very solid fighter, but I'm a little bit sort of torn or indecisive on how much I actually like it. First of all, the music is amazing. The graphics, well, they're good, but for such a late entry in the Mega Drive sort of catalogue, they're not really as good as they could have been. I don't know if it is on the SNES, but I'd be interested to see if it is on the SNES, whether, you know, how much different it looks or how similar it is. I like the fact initially that the sprites were so big, and they did a decent representation of nailing the way Spider-Man looked, especially as I mentioned sort of McFarlane and I guess more so Mark Bagley's Spider-Man. But while they were big, they weren't amazing, and one of my problems with them being so, you know, large, while I initially enjoyed it, actually even worse, oh, that sounded terrible, is you didn't get to see a lot of the screen. And I would have to say, certainly, the original Streets of Rage looked better, and as I mentioned in it, I like the fact that the sprites were smaller and you saw more of the screen, because it's nice to have big characters, but at the same time, in any sort of fighter, you need space to move, you need area to roam. So, you know, the controls as well, the controls are quite tight, but I did struggle to try and repeat certain things I had done. Also, I don't know whether it changes later on, but the crawling up the building seemed a little bit redundant, and also the web swinging seemed a little bit redundant. Whether or not later levels, you know, and I will go back and play, because it's Spider-Man. Later levels have holes in the floor and stuff like that, or levels you have to progress up buildings, much like the Atari 2600 one. I don't know. But also, I would point this out. I mean, the controls were tight, but I found them a little bit clunky, but that might be because I was playing it on a Wiimote and a nunchuck. Because I have an emulator running on my Wii that won't let me use anything other than them, and I'm too lazy to change it. But I would also like to mention that it did get, and I know as I mentioned there, it's hard to pin this down, it did get quite repetitive quite quickly, which I know you would say, well, it's a fighting game, but I don't know, it just felt a little bit more sort of, the people who fought you, or the patterns of the people approaching you, didn't seem to be as random as they could be. It was pretty much like, fight these two people, now fight these four people, now fight these two people, now fight these four people. You know, it wasn't like Final Fight in the sense that people were waiting. It felt a little bit more sporadic. It's difficult to pin it down. I'd be interested to know what anyone else thinks who's played it. But it is actually, you know, it is a solid fighter. I mean, I've only played one level, and I will go back and play it. But it's an interesting game, because, I mean, I love Spider-Man. But for such a hard or rare game to collect, I think, especially how late it was in the Mega Drive's sort of life cycle, they could have made it look a lot better. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm openly bashing it, because I'm not. I enjoyed it. It is a very, very good game, but it's like, it's 1994 LGN, you know, LJN, and this is Spider-Man. Couldn't you, I don't know, you obviously paid a lot of money to get the Maximum Carnage sort of license. Couldn't you have made it look better? Interesting one to call that, very interesting one to call that. I might do some more gameplay videos of it, because I did enjoy it, but I don't know, I feel I'm being too harsh because I love Spider-Man so much, you know? It's like, God damn it, he's my friend, and you better show him more respect than you did, LGN. Different and difficult to call, but yeah, you know what, I am going to do some more gameplays on that, and we'll see, you know, how my opinion sort of differs. Anyway, please, please, please go and check out Steve Benway. As I said, he's a brilliant, massive sort of person in the community in the sense that he always helps smaller channels, you know, and I think that's brilliant and he's talked about this many times himself, that YouTube, or what Google has done to YouTube, means it's incredibly difficult for small channels to get noticed. And so, you know, the fact that there are people out there like him shouting out and you know, helping smaller channels is absolutely brilliant. I will put a link in the doohickey, as I said, and he is in my channel list. He's a top bloke. Please go and check him out. And also, Steve, thank you very much for being involved. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.